Hey everybody, Robert with RC Archery. You're watching Tuesday's Tip of the Week number 100. In this week's episode, I'm going to give you one tip that has helped me and a lot of other archers, irregardless if you're a target archer or a hunter. And it all revolves around making our aim steadier on target, and it will even help you if you have a tendency to have a low bob or a low hold on target that's not target panic. It's all based around our elbow, what we're doing with this, how it needs to set up, and some areas of your form that you need to be looking out for on how you're drawing the bow, how you're setting it up, and getting your draw length correct. Let's get right into it. All right, the awesome thing about our bodies is there's multiple joints that we're using when we are shooting a bow. And I guess that can be good and bad, but the good side of it is we can use those joints as essentially shock absorbers for what we're seeing with our float. We want to make sure that we're not locking out the bow arm's elbow. I see this pretty commonly with a lot of archers because their draw length has been set up too long for them, or maybe they just haven't been told what to do. They're tense, they're overdrawing, they've just developed some bad habits over time. And what this does when you lock that elbow out, it's going to create a very jittery sight picture. You're going to see all of the different movements and little twitches that you have is going to really radiate down range, and it can make you want to push the bow down and create a low hold or a bob up and down on target. What we want to do is actually relax this elbow as much as possible on the draw cycle, and then as much as possible again when we're getting into anchor and starting our shot. The way that I like to do this is I actually like to draw the bow back essentially with more or less a bent elbow as I'm lifting the bow up. It's got a slight bend to it. It's very relaxed. It's helping me lift and hold the bow up on target and just above it as I start my draw. And then when I get into anchor, I am allowing this elbow to be relaxed but not bent or locked out. So it's in a good biomechanic shape to where it's not creating excess movement or a bend there that you're going to have to adapt to from one shot to the next, but it's relaxed as possible while still maintaining the weight of the bow while I'm holding it at full draw. This helps me with a couple things. It helps me be able to hold the bow up on target a little bit easier because the way that the arm is working, it's actually holding up on the bow this way. When we lock our elbow out, we can't really hold the bow up on target very well. It's essentially just kind of holding it off of the end of a broomstick. And if you were to think of this and hold a heavy weight at the end of a broomstick, as far stretched out as you can with your arm out, that's going to be really hard to hold steady. But if you slack that elbow a little bit, it helps you hold that weight up a little bit better, and it just gives you a little bit more leverage over the whole system. When I'm executing my shot, when I'm working through my shot, I'm actually going to be doing this in a manner to create a slow expansion. So I'm slowly building this tension up like we've talked about before, and it's getting me steadier on target. And that extension comes from the elbow out as well as pulling with the release hand with your elbow on the release side with your back, however you want to look at that. Doing this in a slow manner, I can steady up my sight picture and have a consistent starting position and tension built up in my body from one shot to the next in a steadier sight picture before I commit to the actual execution of the shot. Okay, so let's talk about some trouble areas you may run into. If your draw length is set up too long for you and you try this method, you're not going to have success with it. You're going to need to get your draw length adjusted for you properly and correctly to have the correct shoulder joint location to where it's not becoming outstretched because you put some slack in your elbow. And you're also going to want to make sure that you have enough room in the system built up to where as you start that expansion, it's there and it's available. So you also don't want to be too short as well. So as always, proper draw length, very important. If you're having trouble with this technique and you want some guidance with your draw length, let me know. I do offer a coaching package. It's just about form, draw length, fitment of the bow, and that nature. I'll put my contact information in the description of this video. Feel free to reach out to me, email me, and comment below in this video. I'll be glad to help you out. And thank you for everybody for watching these videos, 100 of them. It's been an awesome journey. I'm excited to keep this going. And like I said, have a series coming out with coaching, some different things that we'll start breaking down, similar to like what we did today, and give you some new tips. Next week's video, I'm going to go over what I'm doing with my release hand to also help soften our sight picture and not have jitters translated into what we're seeing as we execute. And the byproduct of that is it will help you not hang up on your release, whatever kind of release you're shooting. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you soon.